I never imagined my life would turn into something like this. I thought I knew my wife, Emily. I thought our marriage was stable. I thought love was enough to hold us together. I was wrong. It started subtly. Emily began staying out later than usual, taking work trips that seemed longer than necessary, and getting secretive about her phone. At first, I convinced myself it was paranoia. She's just stressed, I told myself. She needs space. But deep down, I had a feeling. Then, one night, I came home early from work. I was planning to surprise her, maybe cook her dinner, but instead I walked in on a scene I will never forget. Emily's phone was left on the counter, unlocked, and a cascade of messages spilled across the screen. Names I didn't recognize, photos I shouldn't have seen, men she had been meeting behind my back. My heart sank. I couldn't believe it. My wife, my partner, had been cheating on me, with multiple men. I confronted her. The look on her face told me everything. No denial, no tears, just exhaustion. I don't know why I did it, she whispered. I never meant to hurt you. But the truth was obvious. She had wanted something else, something different, something exciting. For months, I tried to make sense of it, tried to find the version of our marriage where she hadn't betrayed me. But there was something more I didn't know. Emily had a secret, one she had been hiding for years. An illness, a serious chronic condition that no one knew about. Not me, not her friends, not her family. She had kept it hidden, managing it on her own, taking pills, doctor visits, treatments, all in secret. At first, I didn't understand how it connected. But then she explained. I didn't tell anyone, she said, voice trembling. I didn't want sympathy. I didn't want pity. And I made mistakes because of it. She told me that the stress of her illness, the fatigue, the pain, the fear, had made her act out in ways she couldn't control. She craved attention, validation, the feeling of being desired in a way she felt she was losing to her body and her health. It didn't excuse the cheating, not in the least. But it explained a lot. The recklessness, the secrecy, the desperation. I had to step back. I had to breathe. I had loved this woman deeply, and part of me still did, even after the betrayal. But there was also anger, heartbreak, disbelief. Months passed. She went to therapy, started treatment for her illness, and tried to make sense of the mess she had created. She admitted every lie, every betrayal, every mistake. She didn't try to justify it, just explained it. And then the turning point came. I realized that while I had been shattered, she had been living in constant pain, physically, emotionally, mentally, alone. Her actions were destructive, yes, but they were also cries for help from someone who didn't know how else to cope. Forgiveness didn't come overnight. Trust didn't come easily. But empathy grew, and slowly, I understood the depth of her struggle, the complexity of her choices, and the human flaws that made us both vulnerable. We didn't jump back into marriage. We didn't pretend it never happened. But we started to rebuild, step by step, session by session, honest conversation after honest conversation. And while the betrayal never fully disappears, it leaves scars. I learned a valuable lesson. People are complicated. Sometimes mistakes are rooted in pain we cannot see. Sometimes the very act that breaks us is also the act of someone silently struggling to survive themselves. Emily's illness didn't excuse her actions, but it contextualized them. And in the quiet moments, when she leaned on me for support, I realized something important. Love is not just about trust. It's about resilience, patience, and understanding. The men she had been with didn't know about her illness. They didn't know the pressure, the pain, the secret she carried every day. I did. And that knowledge didn't erase the hurt, but it made me see her differently. Not as someone who had only betrayed me, but as someone who was deeply flawed, deeply human, and desperately needing help. Rebuilding isn't easy. Every day is a choice to forgive, to trust, to care. But we chose it together. And maybe that's the most powerful lesson of all. Even after betrayal, even after secrets, even after pain, love can survive. But only if both people are willing to see the full picture, including the parts that are ugly, scary, and hard to accept. I still remember the moment I first heard her whisper about her illness, the first time I realized that every misstep, every betrayal, had a hidden layer. It didn't make it okay, but it made me human enough to hold her hand through it, to stand by her while she stood by herself, and to recognize that even in the deepest hurt, understanding can create a path forward. We are not perfect. We are broken, scarred, and human. And somehow, that's enough to keep going.